Personal finance and investing towards your financial independence is a wonderful thing. But let's be clear, it is not the goal of life. The ultimate goal of life is how you and I can learn more, how we can grow more, how we can contribute more, so that we are able to live fully. It just happens that money is a central part of this life connection. Whereas money is not the most important thing in life, if you really think about it, you'll actually realize it is reasonably close to oxygen in the must-have items. We certainly need money for our needs, but we also need it for our wants and desires. Be they for personal fulfillment or helping others or take advantage of opportunities. We need money to do good to the world, be it in philanthropy or spreading a message that we believe in. Now, those of you who know me well know that I have very little need or regard or desire for money to spend on myself. I have chosen to practice what some have called optional poverty, where I survive on very little. And that somehow gives me joy. I work hard, I make money, but it is to further causes that I believe in. Unlike some of the great philanthropists that I have come to admire, who over time have gathered and amassed a lot of cash only to give it away at the very end, I prefer the philosophy of the great Brazilian industrialists, Ricardo Semler, who says, give it away as you make it. That for me is something that I prefer. And we shall focus on giving and its purpose in your journey to financial independence, I think, in another session. So even when you don't think you require money for yourself and you're doing all this for altruistic purposes, there is a question that you really must consider seriously. And the question is, what is your financial independence number? What's your number? In other words, how much money must you receive every month from your investments, not your salary? How much money must you receive from your investments so that you no longer have to trade your hours for shillings in order to survive financially? Working on a job or running a business is not a bad thing, no. Serving others with your time, your energy, your skills can be incredibly fulfilling. What I spend my life fighting against is people getting stuck in less than ideal jobs. Once you're stuck in this less than ideal job, you quickly erase any idealistic notions you may have. Even a great job can become a pain in the neck when you know you must do it for money. Instead of inner joy and growth, a less than ideal job traps you in the rat race. You may call it making a living, but I think you're in reality making a dime, because with every day you lose a bit of yourself. When you determine your financial independence number, you break that cycle. You draw a line in the sand beyond which you can no longer financially need a job. Even before you get to that destination, that decision gives you hope and encouragement, and the journey gives meaning to your life. Now, this number can be written as a formula, and the formula looks like this. Your financial independence number should be an investment income that is equals to or more than your needs, your wants, and your desires. Now, this is a specific amount of monthly income that you need to meet these, needs, wants, and desires. Now, please note, I'm not talking about net worth. I'm not talking about capital gains. I'm not talking about things that you have put aside here and there. Financial independence is primarily a function of monthly cash flow. It's monthly cash flow that determines whether or not you become financially independent. In the great personal finance book, Your Money or Your Life, the author calls this point of reaching this financial independence the crossover point. And Robert Kiyosaki, in his Rich Dad, Poor Dad, calls it escaping the rat race. Now, if I look back, my wife and I started this journey when I was 29 years old and she was 24. As I've said before, I was earning 15,000 shillings. Now, the formula we decided to have for ourselves was, for us to reach financial independence, we needed rental income that could meet our everyday needs and take our two sons to Harvard. That's it. Just meet our daily needs, take our two sons to Harvard. Now, I'm earning 15K. This was absurd. It was unreasonable. We couldn't even have the courage to share this dream with our friends because it sounded silly. And we didn't know how to do it. But we knew a few things. Number one, we determined to work extremely hard at our jobs so that we could increase our employment income as well as income from other sources of, income from other sources. And at a later date, we shall talk about multiple sources of income. Number two, we would only use real estate to generate rent as our third income. So there'd be my wife's income, my income, and a third income, which was rental income. Number three, that even with three incomes, we purposed to live only on one income. And this is something that we have done for the last 14 years. We have only lived on one income. Now that's my wife's income. I think I should do a video on what it takes as a man to live on your wife's income by choice. Number four, we had 15 years between that time and when our firstborn would join college. So we gave ourselves 15 solid years of trying to achieve our financial independence number. And finally, number five, after the boys are done with college, we had purposed to transform that income into a retirement income. Now, this whole financial independence number was a big, hairy, audacious goal for us. Now, as all big dreams tend to do, it immediately became the central guiding principle that guided pretty much everything we did. Every aspect of our lives was guided by reaching this financial independence number. How we lived, what we ate, how we budgeted, how we talked to each other, how we spent, how we gave, everything was around this. Now, this was hard at the beginning. The first 5 years were really, really, really hard. But God, the first year, that was the hardest. It seemed there was no movement, there was no traction at all. But as the years went by, we began to see some positive changes. And it became very, very exciting as our rental income grew. Now, as our rental income was growing, our salary is also growing. Our other sources of income were also growing. But we really watched our rental income. And it grew until it got to a point where it became more than what each of us was earning individually. Now, remember, we lived on one income and we were generating three income, and the rental income now had become the biggest. That was really, really exciting. But the greatest moment was in 2016 when we finally paid off all our loans. Now, Martin Luther King's words became very vivid for me. Free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. And that's how we felt. That was exciting, difficult as it seemed at the onset. And the first few years, it just seemed absolutely impossible. But we finally made it, and with time to spare. It didn't take us the 15 years that we had budgeted for. It took us actually a shorter time. And between then and now, that number has since been surpassed. And now we have different numbers and different purposes that we are living for. Now, reaching your financial independence number does not mean that you can't still work and make money. It doesn't mean that you will stop growing financially for the rest of your life. It does not mean that you are perfectly safe forever. Achieving this goal only means that the pressure is off. Your investments could support you and you don't need your job for money anymore. It's an incredible place to be. It's an incredible feeling. And as you get closer, the entire universe of possibilities seems to just open up to you. The job you once hated can be transformed when you know that you're there by choice. Because some of us have skills and we just love what we do. And we can do it even better when you know I'm not doing it for money. The business ideas you feared starting could now be feasible ideas. creativity and energy that had been dormant for years suddenly reemerge and spring up. And it gives you a lot of energy to really push for what you believe. New opportunities, new businesses, new questions, new exciting paths will open themselves up to you. Now, when we achieved our number, 2016, I stopped doing architectural consultancy. I love architecture, but I hated the business of architecture because it's a business that does not make money. So I stopped consultancy completely. And my wife quit her job, and together with a team of highly motivated and highly ferocious people here at Tsavo, we live for one purpose, and we spend every day on that purpose, and that is to enable you achieve your financial independence. The question is, are you ready to start? That's a question that only you can answer. So, whatever a better life means to you, however you define needs, wants, and desires, however you define purpose, I recommend that you figure your own financial independence number and commit to it. If you are married, commit to it together, you and your spouse. And this will provide a clear, focused, and compelling vision to work towards. And you will live a purpose-driven life. And a purpose-driven life is a life worth living. Thank you.